Bang! What's poppin', people? We're back again for another UFC Parlay Madness live stream. My new show, Parlay Madness, which has only been around for 2 events. We started in January 2024. We've only had 2 UFC events so far. 2 or 3. We've only had 2. This is the 3rd show, the 3rd UFC event of the year. And we're looking to go and smash it again. Not last week, but last event or last show was a massive show. We cashed 50 to 1. I think it was like 51 to 1, a 9 to 1, another 7 to 1. We cashed 3 separate long shot parlays, which has just drastically boosted up our results for this year already. My ROI, our ROI for this stream is 362% ROI. So, you know, we're going to try and do that again. Like Brandon Van is saying, you know, another 50 unit week. We need that. Not only did we smash the parlay live stream, the free content that I give to you, but I also had one of the best betting nights of my entire life. I won over $100,000 on UFC 297. It's pretty well documented on Twitter. I've posted my bet slips, multiple of them. I've posted the results I had. It was 44 units of tracked profit and then a bunch of other profit with obviously the live stream, the parlays that I gave out to you for free on this live stream. Then I also had degenerate parlays or fun parlays, whatever you want to call them, on my own website, which I played in the elite zone, which also cashed. We also hit Dricus du Plessis via decision. We played a few round props in that, so it kind of cancelled itself out. But then I also had a bunch of other stuff like Dricus du Plessis live bets, and we had Movzar Evloev takedown bets. It was insane. It was an absolutely insane day. It was one of the biggest days of my entire life. So hopefully I'm going to try and do the exact same this week. So this week, the takes that I have are not as strong or as many as I did the last UFC event, but the takes I have, I really like them. So I've refined the approach this week. The approach that I'm taking to my bets this week, and obviously if you want my bets, they've been up there for over a week now. You know, I'm adding to them, but they've been up there for over a week. If you want to get all my bets, you can just click the link in my bio, lucrativemabetting.com, and you can have full access to them. But with my bets this week, I've decided to not go Hail Mary like I did last week in terms of we had lots of props last week, lots of round 2 props, round 3 props, round 2 via submission, round 2 KO, lots of very small bets, but that if they won, they would earn me a lot of money. This week, I'm actually doing no small bets. The smallest bet I have this week is a 3 unit play. So 3 units is the smallest bet I have this week. So I have a good amount of bets, not as much as the other week, but the ones I do have, I have a lot of money on them comparatively to last week. So yeah, I just believe that in every situation, you have to adapt differently. You have to play whatever the card gives you, as I always say. That's why I believe that people who bet one type of way are always going to be lapped by people like me who are able to bet in multiple different types of ways. The reason for that is because every UFC card, every MMA card, the UFC, the bookies, the market gives us something different to play with. Maybe one week all underdogs win, like UFC 297. Tons of underdogs won. Maybe one week only one underdog wins. So if you're an underdog bettor, you're going to lose that week, right? Whereas if you're an all-round bettor, you can adapt to every situation. If you're able to bet parlays, props, long shot props, short props, favorites, underdogs, then you're always going to be maximizing your chances of full profit. And not a lot of people do that in the game. A lot of people are stuck in their ways. So that's the rant for today. If you are able to, I would always suggest betting in a multitude of ways, trying to get good at the things you're bad at, trying to maximize the things you're good at and minimize the mistakes that you're making in order to become a good all-round bettor. You're going to always make more money, right? But without further ado, we'll get straight into it. The first fight of the night is not one that I love, but it's one that we're going to speak about anyway. We got Thomas Peterson versus Jamal Poges. So I don't really like this fight at all, guys. Pretty sloppy, low-level heavyweight fight, in my opinion. We know that Thomas Peterson's going to come out there and try and grapple. We don't really know too much about how Jamal Poges is going to deal with that grappling. And the reason for that is just we haven't really seen it on tape. I didn't really see too much tape where guys are consistently shooting in on Jamal Poges and he's stuffing it, or at least against someone who is going to go out there and most certainly do that, which is Thomas Peterson, you know? So I don't have too much of an opinion on this one. I feel like Jamal Poges is probably going to be the one establishing the jab. But he's shown some performances where he's been up. He's shown some performances where he's been down. He hasn't been that consistent for my liking. So I don't feel like I have a big edge on this spot, guys. I think this fight is probably dog or pass just because of that fact. Because there are unknowns on the Jamal side for sure. There are also unknowns on the Peterson side where we don't really know his level at the moment. So I don't know, man. I just feel like this is a spot where if anything you take the dog, I wouldn't really be laying juice on Thomas Peterson just with the overall trajectories of both of their careers and also what we know about them. But I will also say that it's more likely a pass, right? I'd say it's a dog or pass, but for me, it's a pass. But we have to look at if there's any value in the lines, because this whole show, and by the way, if you don't know what this show is, what we're going to be doing, I'll probably mention this before every show. For the new viewers, what we do in this show is we go through every single fight on the card, right? So essentially, I'm giving you a full card breakdown, although I'm not going in depth on the fights, and I'm not telling you outright my bets on the fights. That is saved for my Elite Zone guys. That is saved for the people who sign up to my website. But we do a short breakdown of every single fight. We look at the props. We look at the money lines for every single fight. We pick out a couple of props, a couple of money lines that we think potentially are plus EV plays. And then we write them down on a spreadsheet. I'll bring that up in a minute. And then at the end of the live stream, we go through all of the bets, the potential bets that we've written down, and we add them to our parlays. We construct our parlays, and hopefully those parlays cash. So that's the basis of this show. That's how this show works. And it's been doing well so far. So first fight of the night, Peterson Poges. We're going to go to fightodds.io, and we're going to look at all of the odds. And like I've said before, I'm taking the odds from Bet Online odds just because it's easier to stick with one, bookie. It's stupid if I'm picking different odds from different bookies. We're just going to stick with Bet Online. Sometimes they're going to have good odds. Sometimes they're going to have shit odds. It is what it is. We're going to stick to Bet Online. So the fight goes to decision is -115 here. Fight ends inside the distance, -115. So, I think the fight ends inside the distance is the play. If you're going to play anything here, I believe that the fight doesn't go to decision is more of a play, because I do feel like Peterson from top position can do a lot of damage. We know that. We don't know much about him, but we know that he's decent from top position, right? So if he does get Jamal down, he's a 265-pound man. I think he actually cuts to make the heavyweight limit. I think both of them do. I know Jamal's come in different weights at times, but basically he's a big guy, Thomas Peterson. If he gets on top, I most certainly think he can finish the fight. So the fight ends inside the distance. It's mildly interesting. It's nothing crazy, guys. It's nothing that I'm definitely thinking we're going to put in a parlay. But what I will do is I will write it down, right? So I'm just going to write Poges money line at +145, which I don't love. And then I'm going to write ends ITD at -115, which again, I don't love. It's +143, whatever. Which again, I don't love, but it's just something to be aware of. So another thing I'll say to you guys is that if you don't know how this works, what we do is, as you can see here, we write down potential plus EV legs for every fight, but we're not going to use all of these legs when it comes to the end of the show and we construct our parlays. I may not even use these bets, but what I will do is take a look at them and decide what ones I want to use, maybe my favorites or what I believe holds the most value. So we'll write this down for now, guys, but we ain't gonna definitely use it. I'll say that. MMA Line Movement Shane watching on his way to MMA class. What's up, Big Lou? Victor De Jesus. What's up, James? And chat, glad to catch the show live. Glad you are here, brother. Eric Betts Fights are saying, I've got the itch to catch a big, stupid parlay. We got the same itch, bro. We got the same itch, so let's scratch it. Eric Betts, we had a legendary episode last time. We just need what happened last week to happen every few weeks, and we're good. That's it, bro. We're golden. If we get last week once every 30 weeks, we are legitimately laughing because we won. How many units did we win last week? Let's just say we put 1 unit on every bet, which I know we didn't. I'm just saying that I'm recording them as 0.1 units, right? But let's just say 1 unit for ease of calculations here, right? If we I think we cashed 3 parlays last week. 51 to 1, 9 to 1, 7 to 1, right? So what's that? 51 plus 9, 60 plus 7, 67. We basically cashed a 67 to 1 parlay. So we got 67 units of profit from this stream already, right? Not profit because you take away 1 unit from the other one. We're about 60 units profit last week. So even if we have one of these shows, if we have a 60 unit profit week once every 50 weeks, guys, if we have this once a year, we're happy. We're profitable for the entire year if we just have one show like last week. The entire year, one show. Do you know how insane that is? So if we have 2 a year, 3 a year, I mean, red panty year. We're going to cash Eric. On God, I feel it in my veins. Bang, bang, let's go. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Line Mover, Lava Guava, Dixon Cider, Brandon Van, Daz Files, Raj, Dixon, James, do you do live bets? Yes, I do, brother. Cashed on Drickers Duplessis. Big time last time out. Grace Band, hate to sound like a broken record, but can we get a progressive for majority of the fights, moneyline parlay? Not at the moment. I'm not really set up for that. I haven't decided that I'm going to do it and thought about it. Maybe at some point I will, though. Let's go, mate. Best way to bet Silva, please. No rush. All right, we'll get there. So, yeah, man. I'm going to get back to the comments in a minute, but we'll move on for now. So, Marco Medeiros versus Landon Quinones is the second matchup of the night, and this is a good matchup, right? The first matchup, kind of a shitty one. Don't really care about it. Low level, sloppy. This fight is not low level and it's not sloppy. It's not the highest level of all time for sure, right? But I believe it's a good fight and I'm excited to see it. I think both fighters are going to bring it. I haven't really seen a fight in where Medeiros hasn't brought it. I mean that more on the Quinones side. Like Quinones brings it every fight. Medeiros, he's a good fighter. He will bring it. Maybe doesn't push the pace as much as Quinones, but like he's still going to be in there throwing, right? I think this fight's going to be on the feet for 15 minutes. And I think it's going to be an exciting fight, kind of like Hakparest, the Quinones Hakparest fight. I'm not going to say it's going to go the same way, but I do believe it may be fairly exciting and competitive and fun to watch like that was. Now, I actually bet on Landon Quinones against Nasrat Hakparest in that last fight. And I think I bet on Quinones at plus 300 there. Yeah, plus 360, apparently. So I think I got in at plus 300. And, you know, it is what it is. He lost the fight. I don't disagree with the decision at all. Like, it was a good decision. It was a good fight. I feel like plus 300 was a good bet. You know, if you don't, it's not often you get plus 300 money lines in MMA. And it's even less often that they compete the way Landon Quinones did. But it is what it is. It wasn't to be. He came in short notice for that fight. I think this is a tough fight to call, man. I think both fighters have a chance to win this fight. And again, I'm not going full in-depth breakdowns or giving you my full bets at all on this live stream. Overall, I think it's a good fight, and I think it's a competitive matchup, just like the last one. So I think definitely the underdog is the side here. I'd say Landon Quinones at plus 115 is the side. I know the money's coming on him a lot. I'd still say the underdog is the side here. Now, am I going to be betting him personally? I'm not going to be betting him. I didn't see enough value when I taped it as I wanted. You know, like I'd need at least plus 150 or higher to bet this. And then I'm not even sure if I'm going to be betting this. And the reason for that is, or I'm not even sure, I wasn't even sure I was going to bet this at plus 150, plus 160 when I saw it. So I'm definitely not going to bet it now, but I still do think plus money is the side for this one. So I'll write Landon Quinones here. And then we got Big Kappa saying, you're crazy if you think this fight goes to decision. Markel's the better boxer and heavier hitter inside the distance under 2.5, and Markel by TKO sub. I can't agree with that, to be honest. I think that Quinones is a very tough guy. I've seen him take some big shots. Obviously, it's possible that he gets knocked out. You know, a style where you do take shots is not great. But I haven't seen too much from Markel and Quinones to tell me that Markel is just going to go out there and knock him out. You know, it's definitely possible, but I haven't seen too much to say that. So I actually like the over more than the under here. I think it's going to be a close competitive matchup throughout. Over 2.5 is minus 125. You like the under? You know, more power to you. We will write the over 2.5 at minus 125 for the sake of this broadcast. What else can we put down? Let's have a look if there's anything here. Maderos inside plus 150, not good. Quinones inside plus 320, not great. Maderos decision plus 270. Quinones TKO, yeah. Quinones decision 225. Nothing too much here, guys. I mean, I think Quinones and the over's decent. So we're gonna leave again. I don't know if I'm gonna use any of these plays, but that is gonna be my plays for this at least. What else we got? Julia Stoliarenko versus Luana Carolina. Good fight. I mean, when I say good fight, like exciting fight, it should be fairly exciting, should be fairly interesting. Obviously, if Julia doesn't get the first round finish, then it might turn out to be a shitty slot fest, which definitely could happen. I kind of see it happening. Overall, I feel like both fight. Like I feel like it's kind of like a 50-50 fight, to be honest. I mean, if Stoliarenko gets her down in round one, I think she's got a big chance to finish the fight. We've seen Carolina submitted before, and I think we could definitely see it again. But if she doesn't get her down in round one, I don't know if she's going to be able to finish her in round two and round three. She gets gassed out a little bit. She pushes through gas well, but I don't know if she pushes through gas well to submit, to finish the fight. It's more just to still compete. So overall, I think Julia Stoliarenko is the rightful favorite in this spot. I'm going to put Julia Stoliarenko here because I think she's the side. I think that even on the feet, she can compete, and on the ground, she can probably dominate. So I think that just that alone makes her the clear money line bet inside. But obviously, it's very volatile because of the level of these fighters. It's they're low level fighters, so the volatility always increases a lot higher when the fights are so low level. So do I really want to back a minus 145 lay chalk on a money line where most of her win condition is first round? If not, she's going to be competing, but it's going to be weird and close. I don't really see that, to be honest. But I do think she's the side there. And obviously, if she's the side, then we look at her inside the distance or submission round one, because that's how she finishes all fights, right? So Stoliarenko via submission is decent. Let's have a look at Stoliarenko. So Stoliarenko submission plus 130, but then Stoliarenko inside plus 125. So that's ridiculous. So what I'll do is Stoliarenko inside the distance at plus 125 is not a bad play. And then what we'll also do, we'll get kind of crazy. We'll go Stoliarenko submission round one, because that's really her win condition for the most part in most fights. So why wouldn't we put it down here? Like we would, right? It just makes sense. Stoliarenko round one submission plus 260. So, I mean, that's a terrible price. Most bookies are holding that at least 4-1, but we're just going to write it down now because, as I said, I'm going on Bet Online, and their prices are terrible right now, but we'll write them down. Grayspan, Julia inside the distance. Yeah, I think Julia will win the stand-up. Also, she's super tough, and I do think she's leveled up. Definitely possible. As I said, I'm not confident she will win the stand-up, but I definitely think she will compete in the stand-up. And what I mean by compete is like she can win or she can lose, right? She's competing. It means she could win and she could lose. So it's basically 50-50. So yeah, I agree with you in a lot of regards there. I think she definitely can win the stand-up. I'm not too confident on how it will play out, but she pushes through fatigue a little bit. I'm not going to say better because I feel like Carolina doesn't get as fatigued. So we never really have to see her push through fatigue as much, as Julia does get tired after round one, but she pushes through well. She's a bit of a bull. She's a bit of an ox. She'll probably push the pace. She'll probably get a clinch game going up against the cage a little bit. So I do think that she can most certainly win if it's not on the ground. But yeah, that's how I feel, man. Stoliarenko minus 145, inside the distance plus 125. Do we want anything on Carolina? I mean, maybe Carolina late props could be good because Stoliarenko will tire out. But I mean, do we really want to be putting that in a parlay? I'm not too confident on it. Last week, our biggest parlay we cashed, which I gave out to you for free, is Jasmine Jasudavicius to win in round 3 and Gillian Robertson to win in round 2. And if you go back and cut that part of that stream and go back and find out what I said, I just think this is going to happen. So we're literally just going to put a parlay on what I think is going to happen. I thought Jasmine, like my outright prediction was Jasmine wins in round 3 and Gillian wins in round 2. So I decided to double those up, put it in a parlay. Now, although I think that there may be some value on Carolina round 3, I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm not confident enough to put it in a parlay. I hope you see the difference there, right? I'm not picking Carolina to win in round 3. So I ain't going to put it in a parlay, even if I do think there's potential value there. Whereas I was legitimately picking Jasmine to win in round 3 last time out. And that's why I put it down there. So I think we're just going to leave it here, guys. I don't want to force anything. I don't really need much more on this. Terry Smith is saying women's fights always let you down. I'm staying away from this one. Women's fight may let you down, but they do not let me down. I've made a lot of money on women's fights. And actually, the last UFC event, like I just said, I made as much money as I've ever made on women's fights. Gillian Robinson won me $50,000 by getting a knockout in round 2. I cashed a plus 2,200 prop bet on her TKO in round 2. I also cast her in round 2 at like plus 500. And I think I even had her in a parlay, or I had inside the distance or something like that. And on top of that, Jasmine Jasudavicius, she cashed me big last time out. So women's fights are good, man. You just need to know what to look for. And in this fight, I feel like we look for the Julia Stoliarenko side. But I'm not too confident on it. Again, it's another one of those fights, guys, where I don't even know if I'll be putting anything in a parlay because I just don't really love it. The next fight of the night we have is Blake Bilder versus Junyoung Lee. This is a good fight. Obviously, Blake Bilder gets hurt in every fight, right? Like, he gets cracked a lot. He gets wobbled a lot. But he's a dog, man. He comes back. He's a very good fighter to bet as an underdog because that's exactly what he is. He is a dog. He gets cracked. He gets hurt. But he comes back. And oftentimes, he finishes his opponent. Well, we've seen it time and time again now. I cashed Blake Bilder as a nice underdog price on the Contender Series. And then I skipped his Shane Young fight, which I felt was a decent thing to do. Blake Bilder was most certainly the side at slight dog money, plus 110, plus 120. But it was also 1-1 going into round 3. And, I mean, it's just not really the type of fight I care about, having a plus 110 on 1-1 going into round 3, where the fight was up for grabs. And then on top of that, and then Blake Bilder came back against Carl Nelson. I was very close to betting Carl Nelson. I actually picked Carl Nelson outright, but very strange. It's something that I almost never do. But again, I just had some worries about that fight that just scared me off Carl Nelson, which was a mistake, you know, overall. Looking back at it, it was a mistake. I actually said on multiple streams that week that I think Carl Nelson is going to win this fight in a fight that everyone just expects him to lose as like a big underdog. I think this is the underdog that's going to win. And then I didn't bet it, right? So hopefully some of you heard my analysis and bet it yourself, or at least didn't bet Blake Bilder, because Blake Bilder was getting parlayed in that fight. And yeah, obviously he just dropped the bag there completely. We see that Blake Bilder's game falls apart if he can't really push the pace on guys. If he can't push the pace on you and grind you and grapple you and take you down, then he ain't really going to win the fight. Can he do that on Junyoung Lee? I mean, we've seen it happen on Lee in the past, and that was against Yazi in a fight that I did bet on the big underdog there, and he didn't win, even though he was major value. So it's kind of annoying, you know. In Blake Bilder's last fight and Junyoung Lee's last fight, there was both money lines at plus 200, and what I decided to do was call the winner in the Blake Bilder fight at plus 200, but not bet it, and then bet the plus 200 in a Junyoung Lee fight. It goes to a split decision, and I lose my bet on a plus 200. So it's always annoying when you lose a massively plus EV bet. It's always annoying when you lose a plus 200 on a split decision, especially when it was a great bet. But it is what it is. You know, I don't have too much qualms on the actual decision. It was a very close fight. I feel like it could have gone either way. I don't really see an argument where one fight is the clear winner. You know, Yazi and Junyoung Lee, it was a very close fight. So I'm definitely not going to claim robbery or anything, but it most certainly hurts when you play a plus 200. And it even hurts worse when you don't play a plus 200, like Carl Nelson. So you could say that I'm not the best at calling these guys fights, I mean, or betting on these guys fights. But to be honest, I am. Because, I mean, I bet the right side on all their fights. So I am good at calling their fights. In this fight, I think Lee's the one. I think Lee's the side here. Moneyline movement has been on Lee. I agree with that. Lee has a very, very good straight right hand. And I don't really see a world in which Blake Bilder is going to avoid that right hand. Now, Can he get past the right hand after being cracked a couple times? For sure. I most certainly believe that that could be the case, but I don't think that that will happen. I do think that Lee's going to be able to repeatedly land the right hand and either knock Blake Builder out or win a decision based on damage. I do feel like if Jung Lung Lee wins the fight more often than not, it is a knockout. So we'll definitely take a look at the knockout. But I think Lee's the side even at -150. So I'll write Lee here and I'll write, why ain't it doing that? I'll write Lee here and I'll write -150. And then what else we got is Lee knockout. We'll have a look at that. Lee inside the distance +145. Lee TKO +200. I kind of like TKO 200 a little bit better, to be honest. Lee TKO, but obviously your boy Blake Builder, he's good at surviving, isn't he? But anyway, we'll write it down. What about TKO round 1? Round 1 is +350. TKO round 1? I mean, we're getting very specific now. I kind of rather just stick with the TKO prop overall, but we'll see the line. Lee TKO round 1. Can't see Lee TKO round 1, boys. Builder TKO. Oh, Lee TKO. Oh, it's not even there. 600 on this book, so we'll just write it down. I'm probably not going to keep it, but maybe in a mad parlay or something. You never know. You know, we always had the mad parlays at the end. But anyway, this is a good fight, guys. Blake Builder can most certainly come back, put it on Lee, grind him out. But that's my prediction for the fight. Femba Gimbo versus Pete Rodriguez. Another fight, guys, where I'm not really confident on the winner. And it's funny saying that when you've got a -300 money line in Femba Gimbo. I think the line's come in a little bit now. Pete was at +230 at one point, but I think he's only +200 now. Yeah, so he's +210 on Bet Online. So, I mean, first of all, just straight out money line side, most certainly is Pete Rodriguez. And the reason I say that is because I'm not confident either way. Like, I don't really know much about Pete. And honestly, I don't know too much about Femba either. He's going to go for takedowns in this spot. I guess he's going to try and get the submission. I don't know much about Pete's grappling defense at all. Pete might just knock this dude out in round 1. Most certainly the money line side is Pete here. So I believe that honestly, I'm thinking about a Pete bet myself. I haven't bet him because the fight's just so volatile. I don't know anything about either fighter. Do I really want to lay it? But at +210, it doesn't take much for me to play a +210 in MMA, guys. I've said that many, many times, and I'm going to say it here again. The current information on these two fighters, yeah, it doesn't take much for me to bet Pete Rodriguez money line at +210. So am I going to bet it? You'll find out if you're a member of my service. I don't know yet. But I am going to put it out there as a potential plus EV play for me. So another thing I want to look at is Femba Gimbo by submission, because I most certainly... Takura Gimbo, is that his name, yeah? I most certainly believe that Gimbo can get a submission in this fight. So let's have a Gimbo submission +135. Guys, I mean, is that really value there? +135. I'm going to write it down just because I just want to have something to work off of later on in the live stream. As I've said, guys, like, this is just kind of our worksheet. This is our brainstorming sheet, right? We're just brainstorming here. We're just writing all random possibilities. And then at the end, we're going to be genius and put it all together. That's where the real genius comes into play. So right now, we're throwing our leans out there. We're throwing potential plays. Don't hold me to this, guys. It's not too much. Rodriguez round 1 is +450. I feel like that's his path. What's round 1 TKO? Round 1 TKO +500. I'll just take the round 1. So we'll write Rodriguez round 1 at +450. Not too bad, guys. I don't mind it. And then in terms of, maybe Gimbo round 2, round 3. Gimbo round 2 is +375. Don't like it. Gimbo round 3 +800. Also don't like it. Just because I don't know anything about Pete. The guy could completely collapse in the end of round 1 or round 2. He's never been in round 1. He's never been to round 2, Pete, in his entire professional career. So do we really know if he can even hold up to round 2? He's never done it before. So I don't really like the round 3. I don't mind the round 2, although I don't like the pricing. If it was 500 for round 2, I'll take it. Because I feel like Pete's going to, he's going to do well at least for 3 minutes. and then you kind of just pray that he survives another 2 if he does gas out, and then you got the whole 5 minutes in round 2. So overall, man, MMA line movers saying he got steamed crazy. Round 2 might be the play if they're putting it to 375. Yeah. Is that why I said 375? Not 325, was it? 375. Yeah, so 375 is all right. You know, it's okay. I kind of want 500 there. I would like 500. I'm not going to put it in. I'm just going to leave Gimbo sub there. The scenes if he just knocks him out in round 2. I'm not going to put it in just because I want over 4-1, and I'd like 5-1. I don't really like 3. Not the sub. That's just round 2. Yeah, that's just round 2. Round 2 sub. That's a good idea. Let's see if we can get. Let's see if we can get what we want there. Now, I'd want a little bit more than 4 now because I'm adding the sub because the TKO is like, now I'd want minimum 5 for sure. I wanted 5 anyway on the round. So if you ain't giving me 5 with the sub, then I ain't going with it. Gimbo sub round 2. Let's have a look at this one. So Gimbo sub round 2 is 5. Yes. 500 plus 500. They're giving me the bare minimum of what I wanted. I don't even know if I can do it. I'm not going to do it, guys, because the TKO becomes live. If it gets to round 2, and this is a breakdown that you can use for a lot of fights. If it gets to round 2 and Pete's gassed out, the sub's there, but the knockout is there, man. Like, I don't really like that. I don't really like that. So that's it. Peter's lost a unanimous decision before, but I haven't seen a fight. No, he hasn't lost a unanimous decision in the professional ranks. I'm pretty sure of that. Maybe he has in the amateur fights, but in the amateur, it's only 3-minute rounds. So it's different, right? So yeah, if we have a look. So yeah, never been out of round 1 professionally, which are 5-minute rounds. But you are right. He did go to a unanimous decision, but only 3-minute rounds, right? So he lasted 9 minutes with a 1-minute break in between. So it's definitely different. But yeah, it's something to look at. I haven't seen the fight either. It's still something. Did I see that fight? I don't think I saw that fight. I don't think I've ever seen that fight. So hey, it's still something to look at. But yeah, there is a big difference between amateur and pro. And also, you're talking about 2016. So you're talking about 8 years ago. And Pete's a kid anyway. I mean, when that happened, right? Pete's 27. So, like, he was a kid when that fight happened, 19 years old. It's just like, it's just tough to take anything from that. Not saying that you was saying to take anything from that, but just overall to take anything from that. And yes, you're right, at middleweight. So, yeah, but yeah, I think that's what we're going to leave there, guys. Pete Rodriguez money line, Rodriguez round 1, and we'll have Gimbo sub there just to have the other side as well, because I definitely like Gimbo sub might even be the most likely outcome of this one, guys. It might even be the most likely outcome. So what else we got going on here? Poges is a walking piece of mediocrity. JB Army, JB Sup Baby Cakes, James We Spaz. Thanks for having me on. We'll remember that forever. Yeah, man. Shout out to my guy, MMA Line Mover. Last show, we spazzed differently. That's down in MMA Twitter history. It really is. What's good, the Gens? This is our Degen show where we come for our MMA nuggets, my man. Robert Tarver saying, looking forward to your thoughts because last time my picks were spot on. Yeah, for sure, man. That was a very, very, very good stream, and I'm hoping to do it the same again for you live. So the next fight of the night, guys, is Charles Johnson versus Azat Maxim. So I cashed big time on Rafael Estevam over Charles Johnson last time out. And the fight played out fairly similarly to how I thought it would play out. Charles Johnson obviously come on in round 3, but he got completely dominated all of round 1. It was quite embarrassing, really. I mean, he just got fully dominated. He got put in a submission at one point, was able to defend the submission well, but he was in bad trouble, got mounted multiple times, got pounded out. Round 1 was a bad look for Charles Johnson. And then round 2, again, pretty bad look for Charles Johnson. He was able to disengage a few times, but it seems like the guy just disengages with wrestling too much. Like, it's weird. Like, I see him disengaging, but then he'll push his opponent up against the cage. Whereas you should constantly be disengaging at all times. So, yeah, man, I think this is obviously another fight in which Charles Johnson is going to struggle with the grappling of his opponent, which has been his story throughout his entire career in the UFC so far. He just struggles with these grapplers. And Maxim will shoot takedowns. He will also stand up with you. He's very patient. He's not like Estevam or Cody Durden. So it's definitely a different style matchup for Charles Johnson here, even though he's still facing a guy who is going to shoot takedowns on him. It's almost a completely different stylistic matchup than everyone else he's fought, because Maxim is nowhere near as aggressive as Mokaev, Estevam, or Cody Durden. All three of those guys are way more aggressive than Maxim, and not even aggressive, but just like less patient. You know, Maxim will time his setups a lot better. Mokaev's just shooting consistently. I mean, what he did to Charles Johnson, he just shot on him for like the entire 3 rounds. And then the same thing with Cody Durden. That guy's a madman. You know, he's going to throw big shots and shoot in. Rafael Estevam is the craziest of the lot. Maxim's way more patient. He'll time his shots. He does shoot naked sometimes, but even those, he times them decently well. And it's definitely a different stylistic matchup. I definitely think Charles Johnson has a potentially better chance to win this fight than maybe, I don't know, maybe the Rafael Estevam fight, or because I don't even want to include Mokaev because I feel like Mokaev's kind of a level above those guys. Although I don't know, man. Like Durden is quite a good fighter, and so is Estevam. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I think that Charles Johnson will have a better time showing his performance here. Like he'll have a better. The canvas is easier to fight on, right? So I don't think he's going to struggle as much with the grappling, with the takedowns, as he did in almost every single fight before. But I will say that Maxim is the better, well-rounded fighters than all of those fighters. So maybe Charles Johnson is able to disengage from the wrestling easier, but I think Maxim is going to be able to just win on the feet as well, right? So it's like, on the one hand, Charles Johnson might not have to deal with the crazy grappling that he has lost to in the UFC, but now he's got to deal with good striking, right? Which he's also lost to a little bit with Ode Osborne. I mean, that was a weird fight, but I think Maxim's the most well-rounded fighter he's fought, and I think that's why Maxim's going to keep his O, and Charles is going to keep losing in the UFC like he has done in his last 3 fights. I think Maxim's going to win the fight. I don't think he's going to get a submission, which is what where are we at? Someone said that. Oh yeah, Azat by arm triangle. I don't think he's going to get a submission. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think I just really, really rate Charles Johnson's submission defense and just his ability to stay safe. I mean, we've seen it against Cody Durden. We've seen it against Rafael Estevam. We've seen it against Mohamed Mokaev. We've seen it against Brandon Royval. We've seen it throughout his entire career. I mean, the guy is very, very hard to finish. If Maxim finishes this guy, I'll be very, very impressed with Maxim. You know, he would actually go up many ranks on my power rankings if he was able to find the finish here. I do think he'll have some certain finishing positions. Like, I'm sure he'll get to mount and go to arm triangle. I just don't think he'll be able to finish it, man, from what I've seen. So let's see what we can do. I believe that at this point in time, like, I can't write Charles Johnson down. I know Maxim's blown out of -225, but I have to write him down, guys. I think Maxim's the side at -225. I do. I know a lot of people will think Charles Johnson's the side here, but I don't. I just have to be honest with you guys. Maxim TKO 750. He ain't submitting he ain't knocking Johnson out, I don't think. Maxim decision +105. Not the worst. Maxim submission +475. Not the worst. I'll write both of them in. All right, Maxim decision at +105, and then Maxim sub at +475. I think all of those plays are, you know, hold potential value. The next fight is Molly McCann, but we'll address the chat. White arm triangle, because that's one of his best moves. Chris London is saying, can't wait for me to read off every single prop and then come back and tell us how smart you are when 1 of 12 hits. Well, last time, a lot more than 1 of 12 hit. Actually, we hit 3 of 7. So we're almost batting at a 50% ratio on +1000s. So last week we done really well. At the moment, this show is up 362% ROI. So, you know, bro, you got to listen to the man Dixon side of here. You're only 2 seconds away from getting your kneecaps busted. But, you know, we can't bust the kneecaps of internet gangsters, unfortunately. Even though we would like to, these men are safe on the internet. But thanks for watching and hit the like button if you are still here, brother. Fubu's saying the way he sets up, the way Charles' defense is open all day. As I've been calling Mokayev out for years. Interesting, I didn't know that. What else we got here? Just finished work and tuning in. Shout out to you. When you lean back and put hands behind head, the audio becomes muffled for your information. Thanks, bro. So, like, if I do this, the audio is muffled. Is that true? Like, is the audio muffled right now? Your last 3 videos, your mic has been rubbing on your shirt. Fix it, bro. Yeah, I need to take it out. It's here. You know what? I'm going to do that right now, actually. Because I don't want bad audio for you guys. So if I put it on the outside of my shirt, yeah, that should never really happen again. Okay, dude, what's your record and picks? How much money have you made? Are your picks verified? Either put up or shut up. He's good, bro. He's good. He's good. You know how it goes, man. It's all right, bro. He didn't cash in on the 51-1 parlay. He didn't cash in, boys. Don't be too annoyed or upset or angry at him. He's already upset enough. He didn't cash in on the parlay like us, so you know. You killed it last week, brother. Keep it up. Thank you, brother. My man. I could go on, but I sound like a wanker. But as I set up for the triangle super hit, yeah, bro, definitely is. Molly via sub. This is the way. Do you agree? We'll see, man. Exactly right. Yep. Always one hater, internet warrior. You know how that goes, boys. It's all good, man. Last few videos have been that way. That fixed it. Yes. Okay, nice. Yeah, don't put lapel mic inside the shirt. All right, boys. Rookie error. I thought it might happen, but I don't like when it hangs off my shirt. It looks kind of stupid and just looks better when it's hidden, more professional, but it's all good, boys. We're back now, yeah? All right, what else we got going on? Molly McCann versus Diana Belbita. So Molly McCann's submission, someone said that. Molly McCann via sub. I don't mind it. So Molly McCann doesn't have a submission in the UFC, but we've seen her multiple times come very close. I don't know how she doesn't have one after fighting Priscilla Cachoeira, because if you go back and watch that fight, which I actually did do in regards to this fight, you will see that she almost had that submission right there. Whatever, Priscilla's a beast. She fought out of it. And she was tying together her submissions very well. You know, from the guard, she was going to armbar. She looked decently competent. On top of that, we've seen multiple times where she's gone and got takedowns on fighters. She took down Diana Belbita in the first fight. I do think Molly's submission is definitely live, and it's probably something that we will add to our notepad after the breakdown. So overall, guys, I think Molly's the side here. I can't get behind the current money line, though. Like, the current money line, Diana Belbita probably becomes the side. Minus 260 Molly or plus 223 Diana Belbita. I'd rather play Belbita at plus 250, plus 230. Yeah, so I'll write Belbita as the money line side here at plus 223, but I don't actually think she wins at all, to be honest. And but I do think that the plus EV side, just based on what we know, you probably play Belbita there. But I think Molly's going to work her, man. I think Molly does good work in the pocket, which I don't think Belbita does. I also like how Molly will shoot takedowns, you know, and she will shoot takedowns. Something that I said earlier on my stream, earlier in the week, which I do a live stream every single week, early on in the week to give you guys breakdowns. And what I basically said was, Molly, if you go back and look at her record, every time she's losing it is to grapplers. You know, she's only ever lost to grapplers, and we'll do it right now together. I'll do it in front of you so you can see. So if you look at Molly's record, last fight she lost was to an armbar. The next fight was to a Kimura. Both fighters grappled her. Then she won 3 in a row, all striking fights, right? All fights where she could get takedowns. Then the last 2 fights that she lost before that were purely from takedowns. She lost against Lara Procopio and against Tyler Santos purely from takedowns. Then we go all the way back. She had 3 wins here. Then we go all the way back to her last loss. It was a rear naked choke. Gillian Robinson, right? So anytime this girl loses, it's because people are grappling her. Not saying she can't be outstruck Of course she can be outstruck. Is Diana Belbita the girl to do it when she can get taken down herself? Not for me. I think that Molly McCann's going to take her down, and I think she's going to go aggro on top. I think she could even get a finish on top. I honestly do. So for me, the fight ends inside the distance at plus 195 is not bad. Ends ITD at plus 195. That's not bad. Just because, you know, Molly, she can be submitted. Belbita will throw an armbar off her back. It just covers off. For the Molly inside the distance is plus 225. It's just stupid. You should play plus 195. And then on top of that, McCann TKO plus 325. McCann sub plus 625. We'll write that as well. Like, I think at plus 625 in a fight that I expect her to grapple, in a fight that I know she has the grappling upside and probably the jiu-jitsu upside, most certainly it makes sense to put Molly sub at plus 625 there. So I think that's all the legs at the moment, boys. We'll move on now. The next fight we have is Gilbert Urbina versus Charles Radke. So I want to keep the stream a little bit shorter, so I'm going to do a quick breakdown for this one. I cashed on Urbina in his last fight at like plus 160. Obviously, that was a big market overcorrection. This is a good fight. I feel like Urbina has upside in this fight. You know, maybe you can get some takedowns. But I also feel like Radke has the upside in the knockout ability. I definitely think, I've seen Gilbert Urbina hurt before. I don't think his striking defense is great. I do think that Radke can crack him and potentially knock him out here. But then I also believe that Urbina can probably grapple him. And overall, he seems like the more well put together fighter, and the level of competition is obviously in the Urbina side, right? Even though he hasn't looked great in some of those fights, it still is on his side. So overall, I don't have too much to say. I do think Radke's the side at plus 170 for sure. So I'm going to write Charles Radke down right now. I don't really see how you can get to a Gilbert Urbina minus 200. I don't really think you can get to that. But what else we got? Fight ends inside the distance, minus 180. Under 2.5 rounds, minus 155. Not really any value there. Over 2.5 rounds, not really any value. Urbina inside the distance, no. Radke inside the distance at plus 275 and Urbina inside the distance at plus 120 is kind of stupid. I don't really know why they're so widely priced. I mean, I guess it's because he's a big underdog. I mean, that's why. But I feel like Radke inside the distance is almost the same as Urbina inside the distance, right? So I think that's very off there. Radke KO plus 550. That's decent to me. I know Urbina's been submitted before, but I don't really know if he's like Radke's probably going to knock him out outside like over a submission. Radke knockout at plus 550 is not bad, you know. I mean, we're already on the Radke side, right? So let's just add his knockout as well. Radke KO, what was it? Plus 550? We'll keep that, boys. I mean, how likely is he to sub Urbina over? Because I'll play the inside the distance if we think that he's going to sub him. But how likely is he to sub him? I don't think he's that likely to sub Urbina here. I think more often than not, if he gets to finish this by KO, I don't know if you agree with me, but I don't really see him getting the submission here. So I don't really know why the submission and the TKO line is basically the same. So yeah, we'll move on. Kizrav versus Mahmoud Muradov. Good fight. Kizrav, I do like Kizrav. I do think he's a good fighter. I think he's getting a lot of hate by a lot of people I've spoken to this week. But I also believe that he shouldn't be a minus 200 favorite, right? And I don't think he's that right now. I think the line's come in a little bit. He's minus 146. Muradov plus 126. It's a tough one. I don't really know what one is valued there. I feel like the line might be fairly accurate. You know, like what? I'll go with the plus money, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I will go with the plus money here. I'm not like confident in it. I'm not passionate in it. But I think that the plus money is the side because of these reasons. So Kizrav is obviously going to try and take Muradov down, submit him. But if he doesn't do that, I think that Muradov has a chance to come back in fights. Now, it's funny saying that because we've seen Muradov gas out multiple times. But it doesn't mean that Kizrav has elite cardio just because one guy we've seen gas out, right? I don't know about Kizrav's cardio. You know, I've seen him go to a decision before, But I don't know if his cardio is elite at this stage of his career, at 33 years of age, after having one fight in the last 4 years, never being tested too much in an MMA fight. He ain't a real middleweight as well. He's a welterweight. Dixon Side is saying he's undersized, which is very true. It's like, I don't know, man. I just can't guarantee that Muradov's going to gas out and then Kizraev's just going to be putting it on him. Like, I just don't really see it. The guy grapples so much. I can see him gassing out as well. So, yeah, just overall trajectories of the careers. You know, Muradov is a UFC veteran at this point. He's been fighting many, many times. And I don't know. I just feel like Muradov is probably the side at plus money, although I'm not confident in it. So let's see what other lines we can get here. I mean, Kizrav can definitely take him down. Is he going to finish him? I don't really know. Like, Muradov seems decent. Muradov seems like he might not get finished. Kizrav inside the distance is plus 125. But I'd almost like Kizrav decision a little bit better. Like the Kai Bahayo game plan, but just execute it a little bit better and just take him down and keep on top of him. Kizrav decision at plus 200 is not bad. But then what's the fight goes to decision? Fight goes to decision plus 130. I kind of like that more. Because as I said, I don't really know about this Kizraev guy. I can't truly believe him, right? So rather than playing Kiz decision at plus 200, I'd rather play GTD. So we've got Muradov plus 126, GTD plus 130. I also like Kizraev sub in this spot. Let's see what they're giving us. Kizraev submission plus 300. So I'm going to write that down. And Muradov KO round 2 or round 3 combo and FanDuel. Yep, that's potential as well. I think I'm just going to leave it at this. There's nothing that I truly love on this. Sprinkle both sides by split. What's the line on Chuck Buffalo abusing the crowd with homophobic slurs? Chris London, nobody likes hearing his own voice more than Lucrative Tate. How can you blame me, bro? I've got a beautiful English accent. So how can you blame me, brother? Come on, man. You're saying it like it's a negative thing. Fubu, I don't hate him, though. He's good, just unproven. I think he's really a welterweight. Yeah, I agree. Dixon's saying, James, my boy Mike Finch is a former fighter and is trained with Charlie, and his brother Brian saying he has excellent black belt submissions. I play Ragy sub over TKO. Good to know, bro. I just feel like in that matchup, in like the way they stylistically match up, the way I've seen Albino cracked on the feet, the way I've seen Radke crack before, I feel like the KO is the go. But we'll see. Kizrav going to be on the side, Muradov KO. Yeah, so that's what I think about that fight, guys. Anyway, it's a very good fight. Very interesting. Kizrav can be a very good fighter, man. Like Kizrav, I think he can be a very good fighter. And if he goes out there and beats Muradov handily, I think we see him get a big step up in competition. And he could be top 10 fighter, man. He really could be. I just don't know it, and I haven't seen enough from him to say that outright yet. Vivian Araujo versus Natalia Silva. Great fighter. My girl, Natalia Silva. I've been cashing on this girl throughout her entire MMA career, or at least her entire UFC career. Jasmine Dazadavicius, I bet on her as a plus 200 underdog. Teresa Blader, I bet on her as a minus 170 favorite. And I bet on the over 2.5 rounds, which missed out by 1 minute, which I think was a very sharp play. I believe that the over 2.5 rounds in a Blader versus Natalia Silva was the correct play, even though it didn't hit. I believe that was a good play. She hit a spinning back kick completely randomly out of thin air while Blader was shooting in. Otherwise, it would have just hit her stomach and not KO'd her. She was shooting at the same time, so it luckily hit her head completely randomly. She threw it to the body and it hit her head and she got knocked out. And we still only missed by 1 minute. So I believe that was a good play there. I believe I read it well. And I cashed her money line at minus 170. So again. And then Victoria Leonardo, I cashed on her here. I bet the under 2.5 rounds at minus 150. And it cashed within 3 minutes. And then in the Andrea Lee fight, I didn't bet it at all. I didn't fancy playing minus 300. I didn't go inside the distance. I just passed on it. And honestly, with the lines, I don't think passing was the worst. I mean, I'm happy with it, right? So I've cashed on her throughout her entire career. And now she's got Vivian Araujo. So she already took a step up in competition, right? Everyone's saying that, like, this is a big step up in competition for Andrea Lee. I know a few of my guys have played Vivian Araujo here. And the reason that they've said that they're playing Vivian Araujo, obviously many reasons, but one of the big reasons is that oh, it's a big step up in competition and she's a big favorite. I'm like, this ain't a big step up in competition. Andrea Lee versus Viviane Araujo was a good fight. Yes, Viviane Araujo won that fight fairly, but she also got cracked and almost finished in the first round of that fight. And it was a good back and forth fight that Araujo kind of won with the grappling, right? So I don't think Araujo at 37 years old is a massive step up in competition over Andrea Lee. I feel like they're both similarly lined. I feel like they're both kind of similar fighters. I don't think it's a big step up in competition. I'll say that. Now, obviously, Araujo poses more threats than Andrea Lee does, mainly in the grappling. But I also don't think that she's going to be able to get Natalia Silva down, just like I didn't think Andrea Lee would. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I think Natalia Silva wins this fight. I think she wins it in style. I think she either wins a decision or a knockout. I mean, she could win a submission. Like, I don't really know if she wins a submission, decision, or knockout. I'd honestly say it's close to 50-50 between them all. Like, I kind of rate 33% on them all. You know what? I'd probably say it's 50-50 that she gets a submission or decision, or maybe 60-40 decision. So maybe like decision is probably like 60%. And then a knockout and a submission is probably like 20% either way. Maybe I'll lean knockout a little bit more. So let's look at the lines here. Minus 350. I think she's probably around that to win. I'd say she's probably around 80%. So I'm going to write Natalia Silva as the money line side here. And I know my man Line Mover will disagree with me there, but that's fine because I was speaking to him before about it. But yeah, I think Natalia Silva's the side there at minus 350. Obviously, she could get the vet lesson, but I truly believe that this girl is maybe a champion. And I've believed that since she came into the UFC and showed me what she did against Jazadovicius. I believe that she was a very good fighter, and I bet on her at plus 200. But after what she did against Jasmine, then I was like, okay, this girl's, she might be champion soon. So I think if she's champion, she most certainly will cover minus 350 over Viviane here. What else? Fight goes the distance is minus 225. Fight ends inside the distance is plus 185. I think it's 60-40 that I think there's a 40% chance that ends inside the distance. So I most certainly think that there's some value here. It should probably be about plus 150. What else are we going to do here? Plus 185. Okay, plus 185. It ends inside the distance, or under 2.5 rounds, plus 235. I mean, they're both good. Plus 185. Is that really that on Bet Online? Let me have a look because I know it most certainly wasn't that on Bet Online about 1 hour ago. But these Bet Online's lines move instantly, whereas a lot of other books don't move super quick after 1 or 2 bets, which is what happens with Bet Online. So yeah, and it's funny because Bet Online, like, they'll move the goes the distance because they got bet on it, but the algorithm won't move the under. It's just pretty stupid. So like, you can get goes the distance, doesn't go the distance, plus 150 or something, but then the under 2.5 rounds will be plus 250, just because the algorithm takes some time to speed up. It's not a very efficient system. But anyway, we have that there. Who was the last person who finished Araujo? She's never been finished in the UFC. I think she got finished once by, I believe, Sarah Froter, which was on the regional scene, like back in the day. Like I'll show you right now. But she's never been finished in the UFC, and I think that's her only finished loss of her career. So if we go on Viviane Araujo, if we see all of her losses, yeah, her only loss inside the distance was a knockout within 2 minutes by Sarah Froter, and that was back in 2017. So a long, long time ago, she got caught cold. She's never been finished outside of that, and she's fought some very good fighters. She's fought Alexa Grasso, Amanda Ribas. These are good fighters, and she's never beat them. She's never got finished. So, I'm not super confident, but I do think it's the side at the line for sure. And then if it is being finished, most likely it's being finished by Natalia Silva. And is she going to submit her or knock out her? I think it's fairly similar, so we'll see what the lines are. Submission plus 650, KO plus 400. I like the submission then, since it's 650. Am I going to add it? I'm not going to add it. I'm just going to leave ends inside the distance. It covers both. And we already got Natalia Silva there, so I ain't going to add it. Next fight we have is Randy Brown versus Muslim Salikov. Yeah, not too much to say here, guys. I think Randy Brown probably wins it on youth. There may be some value in the old boy Muslim Salikov. I'm not going to touch it, though. I'll write Salikov because I believe Salikov is most certainly the value side at plus 240. But I also don't really care too much about it. Fight ends inside the distance at plus 100 is not bad. I'm going to write that as well. I think that's the side for the total. Randy Brown knockout sub. Let's have a look at that, because if it does finish, most likely it's Randy Brown, and most likely he gets a knockout or sub. Knockout is plus 525 and submission is plus 375. That ain't too bad. Like both of them are decent. What do I think it will be more likely? I don't know. He really doesn't get. He doesn't really get knocked out. Boys, I'm not really confident on that. I might just leave it. I don't really like it, to be honest. I'm not confident on the fight overall. I'm just going to leave it. Next fight is Renato Moicano versus Drew Dober. Very good fight. I don't know who's going to win this one. It's a running theme throughout this. It's funny, though, because if you're watching this breakdown, you'll be like, oh, James, he doesn't have many picks. I've got a lot of bets on this card, a lot of official bets on this card. And as I said, if you want to sign up, then this is definitely the weekend to do it, because we don't have any small sprinkles. All of our bets are big plays, which means I'm confident on them enough to be a big play. So it's definitely a good weekend to sign up, especially coming off the biggest weekend of my entire career. It seems like we're in a hot streak right now. So I would definitely sign up to get all of my official picks and predictions. And I actually do have a bet on this fight as well. But going into the fight, I don't know who's going to win. It's a close fight. I think Dober definitely can knock him out. And now the line's moving in Dober's favor. You can get Dober at a good price. And then on the other hand, I do think that Moicano has definitely a good chance to submit him. So I think Moicano could submit him, and I think Dober could knock him out. So why don't we look at Dober knockout and Moicano submission? It makes sense, right? Who do I think is the money line side? I think Drew Dober's the money line side at plus 163. I actually wouldn't have said he was the money line side at Pick'em. I would say that Moicano is. But now at plus 163, they're forcing my hand a little bit. I kind of have to say that, to be honest. I mean, yeah. Like, again, I'm not super confident in a money line side here, but I think that plus 163, they're kind of forcing your hand a little bit there, guys. But what I prefer is Dober knockout, right? So let's have a look. Dober TKO plus 175. I just rather take inside the distance there. We'll write Dober KO plus 163. No, plus Dober KO is plus 175. Oh, but his money line is plus 163. Boys, we just leave it at the money line, man. That's insane. We definitely leave it at the money line there. What else we got? And then Moicano submission. Moicano submission is plus 175. So that's much better than his money line at minus 188. And then Big Cap is saying, lose money on Dober, please. Such a bad play. First of all, why do you want me to lose money? That's a very negative loser mindset. So stop being negative and stop being a loser, because you should never say please to someone to lose money. And such a bad play, brother. We cannot see the future. We don't know what is a bad play. Don't be one of those guys. You sound like an idiot when you think you can predict the future. None of us can predict the future. So don't act like you can. Moving on. Overall, guys, I think that someone's getting finished in this fight. And I think that both fighters have a good chance to do it, right? So we're just going to leave it, what did I say, the Moicano sub plus 175. We're going to leave it at that. And we're just going to leave it. Dober money line plus 163 and Moicano sub plus 175. So we'll just leave it by that. Fuba's saying you can get Dober by decision for plus 1100. Yeah, mad one. Why are you even here, Big Kappa? Yeah, he's all good. He's all good. He knows the rules for the stream now, so it's up to you where he wants to do that. It is weird though, isn't it? People like that other nerd as well who was commenting something like, what did he say? Like, you're going to lose money or something. I don't know. It's funny, like, what? Why are you even here? But it's good though, because more likes for us Maybe they won't do the like. Hopefully you hit the like button. But more views and more comments for the algorithm, which is good. But it is weird. Like I could never imagine sitting in front of a computer, talking shit to someone, and then also watching their stream, which is what that fellow was doing earlier and probably doing right now. You need to sort your life out, brother. Like genuinely, you have to sort your life out. Like how can you be in front of a screen on someone that you don't like talking to them? I don't watch people I don't like because I don't like them. Why would I watch them like that? That's proper mental issues, you know, to like watch someone and that you don't like. Because a lot of people do that. A lot of people, you'll see that on online, like, what is it? On Twitter, on Instagram, you'll get people who consistently comment on things, consistently comment. But if they're consistently commenting, that means they're thinking about you. That means that they're watching you. But if they don't like you, why are they watching you? It's more of an obsession. It turns from just watching to an obsession because they must be obsessed, because if they didn't like you, they wouldn't watch you, right? Like any normal person. But these people are not normal. They're very, very strange humans. Just internet kids, basically. So the next fight of the night is Roman Dolidze versus Nasruddin Imavov. And by the way, guys, I ain't like Big Kappa. I'm not saying this to you specifically. Mainly talking to that other guy before, because you ain't like saying anything too much. You're just saying like it's such a bad play. So I'm not actually talking about you. But all I'm saying is don't try and predict the future, bro, because you sound stupid. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be wrong at some point. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna be wrong one of these days, and then you just sound dumb. You might as well just say your opinion. First time watching some people memeing him on some Discord server. I liking your stream so far, lad. Well, appreciate you being here, bro. Like I said, they're just weirdos and internet kids, and you've just proved it, right? Because they're sending memes on Discords. So we're out here in the real world driving Lamborghinis, and they're sending memes on Discord. So shout out to them. I love you all. Please keep my name ringing bells because it's only helping me. Dober KO plus 420. No, it is not, brother. Plus 220. Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. The weirdos, predictable, as coming off a huge win brings them out of the woodwork. Exactly, brother. If you lose, they come out of the woodwork. If they win, they say you're faking your wins. It is what it is, bro. We love. We just keep cashing tickets. Kizrav and Silva. Kizzy is the real deal. You lot will all see on Saturday. Did you see Muradov? He definitely could be the real deal, man. He could be the real deal. But I don't think we have enough information to say that. You know, you can believe that, but you can't say that based on the information we have. So, but we'll see, man. Brother James, a multi-event parlay would be super entertaining and profitable. What do you think? Yeah, but the thing is, I don't do tape for multi-events like that early, right? So like, let's say we was going to do a parlay for the next 10 events, but I haven't taped the next 10 events. Let's say we was going to do the next 5 events. I ain't taped the next 5. Let's say we was going to do the next 3 events. I haven't taped the next 3 events. So it's very hard for me to do a multi-event parlay, but I will say that I could potentially still do one on my leans pre-tape. Just maybe that I didn't, you know, maybe I'm not super confident on them because they're pre-taped, but it could still be done because I'll still have leans pre-taped. Like I have leans, but it's just tough, man, because like it's hard for me to give bets out when I haven't taped it, right? So it's a bit tough, bro. Just main events, like again, it's the exact same thing. Doesn't matter if it's a main event or a prelim fight, makes no difference. Like if I haven't done tape on it, it's hard for me to confidently speak about it, right? So some of them I can, but a lot of them I can't. Like this one, Roman Dolidze versus Nasruddin Imavov. If you asked me 2 weeks ago who I thought would win that fight, I had no idea. This is a fight that I most certainly had to tape. Now, some fights like Topuria versus Volkanovski, I have a pick straight before, even before taping. Maybe it changes after tape, but I have a pick, right? Whereas fights like this, I have no pick. So it's going to be tough for me to do that, mate. So Roman Dolidze versus Nasruddin Imavov. Very, very good fight. I think that Dolidze has always got a chance to knock anyone out or submit anyone at any point. But I also think Imavov is the much cleaner striker and the much better fighter overall. I think that he's going to be able to dictate range early. But I do give Dolidze big finishing upside in this spot. This is a very tough fight for me to break down, guys. I think the money line side is... I'll go with Roman Dolidze. I just feel like it's fairly accurate, boys. You know what I mean? Like, I'll write Dolidze down just because he's just this enigma type fighter where, like, he can definitely get a finish, and he went very close with Marvin Vettori. And although stylistically, I think it's a good matchup for Imavov, he can bounce on the outside, throw a couple 1-2s. I think stylistically, it's a good matchup for him. I think overall, Dolidze is just not a type of fighter that I want to maybe bet against at juice at -170 or on a fighter that's not proven himself. You know, Dolidze is going to keep walking him down. I don't know if he's going to finish him, but he most certainly will try. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to maximize his win condition. It's a tough fight for me to break down, guys. My overall prediction on the fight is that Imavov's going to be able to dictate range so well that Dolidze is not going to be able to get involved in any type of firefight that he wants, and he ain't going to be able to push the grappling. I think that Imavov's just going to tee off on him. I think Imavov might look like a massive favorite in this spot, but I'm still saying Dolidze is the money line side. Could you imagine that? It's crazy, right? That's how crazy Dolidze is. That's what the type of fighter he is. I feel like the unknowns on both fighters' sides lead me to say that at plus money, I'll just take the plus money on this spot. But I think that if anyone looks like a huge favorite, which is kind of like, is kind of like what happens in every Dolidze fight, right? But I think that if anyone has the chance to look like a big favorite, it is Nasruddin Imavov, which it doesn't actually sound too crazy now I say it out loud, because like I said, in all Dolidze fights, he doesn't have the chance to look like a big favorite, but his opponent does, but he wins most fights, right? So actually, it ain't that crazy. I think Dolidze is the money line side, but I am definitely picking Imavov, and I think he can make it look easy. But it's 5 rounds, so again, his cardio is a question mark. I don't know, man. It's just, yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird. Let's see if we can get any value. I don't really have a good read on this fight, so I don't know if there's too much value on him or there's too much value I'll be able to find on them, because I just don't really have a great read on the fight. But we'll have a look anyway. Dolidze inside the distance, no action, could be solid depending on odds. Yes, sir, potentially, could most certainly be. He already dropped his prediction in the previous vid. Yeah, he's talking about Alex and Ilya. Yes, I did already do that. But we'll be back on that next week or the week after or whenever it is. I agree with you on 3 out of the 13 fights. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. I don't think Imavov is as good at managing range as everyone says. He's very good at long range distance, but he gets corralled a lot or he crashes into the clinch once in boxing range. Yeah, but I think he's good in the clinch though as well. You know, it's not like he's good at long distance, but when he's in the clinch, he's fucked. I actually think he's solid in the clinch. He was piecing Sean Strickland up in the clinch at times. So, yeah, I don't actually necessarily agree with that. Well, it's possible that he's not as good at managing distance as everyone says. I don't really know what everyone is saying, but that's possible. But then I think that maybe he doesn't mind closing distance, because I feel like he's decent in close distance. I don't think he's great in boxing range, but I do think he's good in clinch range. So, yeah, I don't know. But I definitely think that he's good at... I think his movement's good. I think he's good at poking the jab. I think the front kick is good. I definitely think he's a good long range striker, and I think he's able to keep that long range well. He doesn't want to be in the clinch with Roman. Yeah, possible, but you know, that's just a separate thing. You know, like he's good in the clinch regardless of this fight. I just think he's good in the clinch. Now, does he want to be in the clinch with Roman? But that's a whole nother thing. No, but I think he can crack Roman as well. Like, obviously, he'd rather not be, but I also think he can crack Roman. Like, Dolidze doesn't have great wrestling. I don't really trust him to wrestle too heavy and like get Imavov down too much. So I don't know, man. But like I said, I think Dolidze is the bet. How do you decide which legs you combine to make a parlay? Random, bro. I do it in front of you. You'll see in a minute. It's just random, bro. Now, this is the parlay live stream, right? When I am breaking down my own parlays that I bet outside of this live stream, then I take a lot longer to bet them. So I'll decide specifically what legs to put in what legs. And it's just random, but it's obviously not random. I'm picking it for a reason, right? Like I'll put maybe the two confident legs together or if they add up to a certain line or whatever it may be, right? But basically, I'll take longer making my own parlays. But on the parlay live stream, I'm quite fast. So yeah, that's it, guys. Can we see any value? Under 2.5 plus 130, over 2.5 plus minus 160. Fight goes the distance minus 185. A plus 185. Someone said that earlier. I don't mind fight goes the distance, to be honest, you know. Both have average cardio, should pace themselves, being 5. I like that over, both durable. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I don't know if someone said that. You know what? We'll write down fight goes the distance at plus 185. I don't mind that. And then GTD plus 185. Yeah, I don't mind it. Only a few fights I'm confident on this week. How are you feeling? Are you confident on these fights? I'm confident on the fights that I have a bet on, for sure. I actually think the fight goes to distance is a good play. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I'm not saying I'm going to get there myself, but I don't mind it. Am I a bad person if I laugh a lot if Molly McCann loses? I mean, bad is subjective. Probably not a bad person. Bad people. But maybe you are. Maybe laughing in someone else's misfortune. Is that bad? I don't really know. I mean, why do you hate Molly so much? If you have a valid reason, if Molly spat on you one day, then yeah, it's fair enough to laugh at a loss. But if you just dislike her, I wouldn't say you're a bad person. I'd just say like you're a bit of an idiot for laughing at someone else's misfortune. Like just a bit of an idiot. Depends what misfortune, right? If she falls over the stairs, you can laugh. It's kind of a funny thing. But losing an MMA fight, I'm not really feeling it. I feel like Roman's early stoppages have been big moments. Yeah, exactly. That's what they have been. Roman guaranteed will not chase a finish because he knows if he blows his load, he won't make it anywhere near the 25th minute. He'll get embarrassed and lose a title shot. I don't know, but Imavov's the one with questionable, like, I haven't really seen, I mean, Roman doesn't have great cardio either, but I haven't really seen him slow down too much. Maybe in the Giles fight. He didn't slow down in the Vettori fight at all. You know, I don't know. Because she got a fake belt and ran around the cage. Yeah, fair enough, but I don't know, man. Just not my style, bro, but you do you. Lucrative, do you think Shannon Ross can make it back to the title? No. Not picking a side, but the overs. Yeah, so that's it, boys. So now, the fun part of the stream. Now we're at the fun part. We've got our potential bets, right? We've got our potential plays. And now what we do, we make the damn things. So, parlay 1. So you know what? First, we'll do a couple money line parlays. We'll put Landon Quinones in. Because the money line parlays take out a little bit more volatility. Yeah, if we're doing like Maxim submission with Rodriguez round 1, it's a bit tough, right? So we'll do a couple money line parlays. So we'll put Landon Quinones in there. I think that's a tough fight, a close fight, but we'll still put it in there. Landon Quinones. Who else should we put on it? Who else should we put in this parlay with him? Ragy plus 170, Muradov 126, Salikov. I'll do Ragy plus 170. Ragy plus 170. That seems a decent one to go in with Landon Quinones. 2 nice underdogs there. And then we'll put Natalia Silva in. Another. So we took two money lines and then a big favorite. I don't mind that. What's the odds for this one, boys? Is anyone around that can do the odds? It's all right. I'll get the parlay calculator myself. All right. So we got plus 115, and then we got plus 170, and then we got minus 350, boys. What's the odds for this? Anyone got it? Now, you know what? We can do it right up here, you know. Oh, no, because I'm not on best fight odds. All right, we'll do it on best fight odds. Plus 665, plus 635, plus 635, plus 665, plus 635. All right, just give me a sec, boys. Oh, best fight odds is so shit, boys. I hate best fight odds. All right. 3-leg parlay at plus 636. That is the official odds. I hate best fight odds, so we won't use it. All right, so we got that one there, parlay 1. And now we do parlay 2. And we don't ever use the same leg in 2 parlays. We never do that, right? What else we got? So we got Landon over 2.5. So we'll put that one in as well. Now we'll do a totals parlay. Do we have any totals here? We don't have too many totals, do we? We hardly have any totals. You have ends inside the distance. We'll do Landon over 2.5 with Natalia Silva ends inside the distance. That's a pretty random one because we've already got Natalia Silva and Landon in another parlay. So now we do it in this one. Pair Muradov and Azat. Maybe. So Landon over 2.5. Natalia Silva ends inside the distance. And should we do one more? So what we got at the moment, plus 185 and minus 125. What odds have we got for the moment, boys? I'm struggling with this one. I don't really know what to put on. Should I put Muradov goes to decision at plus 130? I don't mind that. I guess we don't have to stick to money line. I kind of want to just do. Sorry, guess we don't have to stick to totals. I kind of do want to do some totals though. So it's plus 413 at the moment. All right. Well, we'll add one more onto this. Do we like Muradov goes to decision? Are we feeling that one? I feel like it could definitely go to decision. Both fighters are not easy to finish. Kizrav undefeated, and then Muradov, I know he gassed out against GM3, but it's not a guarantee he gets finished. I don't know, man. Plus 130. What else do I like here? Belbita ends inside distance, plus 190. I don't love that. What else do I like here? My man Dixon Side is saying, don't force totals, let it flow. Okay, all right. I won't definitely put a total in there. We'll do we even have to put another one? You know what? We'll just bang Lee minus 150. You're right, man. I don't need to force a total. We'll put Lee minus 150. It's going to bump it up to around the same. So what is this? Minus 125, plus 185, and minus 150. What does that add up to, boys? Please let me know. 2-leg. I mean, you're talking about probably a plus 700 or something there, I would say, just from adding the legs up in my head. Around 700, boys. What we got? Plus 755, my man Raj says. Can we confirm or deny that, boys? I can do it myself, but it's going to take some time. We got plus 185, minus 125, minus 150, plus 755. Yes, that is correct. Plus 755. Bang. All right. Nice. We're getting through it now, boys. This is where the money happens. Parlay 3. What we going on? Ragy KO. Fuck it. We'll bang that in there just because it's sitting right there. It was on its own. Should we put Ragy KO in with a Lee KO? That's kind of brutal, eh? 2 KO. We'll have the KO parlay. It seems about right to me, boys. We'll have the KO parlay. So we got a plus 550 and a plus 200. That's going to be big money right there. So I'll do it. Plus 550 and then plus, where are we at? Plus 200. That's plus 1850. Jeez. That's a big one, boys. plus 1850. That's over 18 to 1. We need Ragy to get the knockout, and we need Lee to get the knockout over Builder. It's possible, boys. I feel like both fighters have big chances to get that done. So we'll have that as our third parlay. Parlay number 4. Okay, we're getting through it now, boys. And you know what I might do? I might just scroll through here and delete some shit that I don't care about. Pogues money line and ends inside the distance is, you know what? I'll leave ends inside the distance, but I'll take the money line away because I don't know, man. I don't think there's much value on plus 143. Lee TKO 1, we'll leave that there maybe. Pete Rodriguez, we'll leave that. Gimbo sub. I don't like going against myself. I don't like doing Pete Rodriguez and then Gimbo, their opponent. Do you know what I mean? I'm not really feeling it. You know, I'll take Gimbo sub out because we've already got 2 Rodriguez's. We've got Pete Rodriguez money line and Rodriguez round 1. We'll leave that in. Maxim minus 225. Maxim decision plus 105. Yeah, okay. Belbita. I don't really like Maxim at that price, to be honest, guys. We'll remove that. I don't really like Belbita at that price. We'll remove her as well. Muradov, I don't really like him either. Salikov, don't really like him. Dolidze, I don't like none of these guys really too much, but I don't want to delete them all. All right, you know what? We'll put Pete Rodriguez money line in because, I mean, no one knows what's going to happen in the fight. It seems like an easy play. Pete Rodriguez money line, and we're going to parlay that up with somebody else. Pete Rodriguez money line. We'll put that in with a Maxim decision. And then should we bang something else in there as well? I feel like we should put one more thing in. We'll put Stoliarenko in there as well. I don't love it, but we'll put Stoliarenko inside there. I mean, she's got outs to win via decision and submission. So we've got a plus 210, a plus 105, plus 210, plus 105, and then minus 145. That's plus 974. I mean, we're doing a lot, boys. We're doing a lot. Plus 974 is big odds. Plus 974. I ain't fucking around. I ain't giving you these 3-to-1 parlays. I'm giving you 9-to-1s, 18-to-1s. We ain't fucking around. We're getting through it now, boys. Parlay 5. See, now we're getting to the ones where like it's a bit tough to parlay them up. So Maxim sub. I mean, again, we've got Maxim decision. I don't really want to go Maxim sub. I don't want to basically go against myself. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna leave that. Muradov plus 126. Muradov goes to decision. Boys, what do we think? Dober, Maxim decision, and Pete. Well, we've already done that now. Well, close. We was close, but we just didn't put Dober in. Add Dober. People saying I should add Dober. Fuck it. We'll add Dober. Drew Dober at plus 163. And then what else we got? What should I put in with Dober? Should I put Dober in with Lee TKO 1? I mean, it's pretty random, but like, who cares? If he gets the knockout round 1, we're laughing. But you know what? We've already got Lee TKO. That's fine, though. I mean, we can have TKO 1 as well. It's not going against ourselves. Round 1 parlay with Stoliarenko, Lee, and Rodriguez. Yeah. I think we got to do that. It's a mad one, but we got to do it. It's a mad one. All right, we'll do that as the mad parlay. Parlay 6. Bang. Lee TKO 1. Rodriguez round 1. Stoliarenko sub 1. Bang! Boys, this is a proper loony one. Let's add this up. TKO 1 plus 600. Round 1 plus 450. Stoliarenko sub plus 260, which, by the way, you can get for way bigger than this. Boys, it's 137 to 1. Jeez! This is a mad parlay. Boys, if this hits, I'm retiring off this. And you ain't going to get any more parlays from me because that's retirement money right there. Plus 13,760. 3-leg parlay at that. This one's a two-leg parlay. But I want to finish this one off, boys. We've got Drew Dober, and you know what? I'm probably going to leave it after that. I don't want to do too many more. I'll leave it with 6. We'll leave it with 6. Dolidze goes to decision. Yeah, it's not bad, that one. Silva inside the distance. Yeah. Did we? No, we already did that one. I already got that somewhere. I've got the fight doesn't go to decision. Same thing. Dolidze GTD might not be bad with Drew Dober. Should we do that? What do we like here? Salikov, not really feeling. Muradov, not really feeling. Ends inside the Stoliarenko sub. I feel like boys, I'll either put the Muradov one in, Muradov GTD, or the Dolidze GTD. But the Dolidze GTD is just way higher. Should we just write that? We'll do that, boys. Dolidze GTD at plus 185, parlayed with Drew Dober money line at plus 163. Let's see what it comes into, because that's going to be our final parlay of the evening, boys. Plus 163, and I'm going to parlay that up with a plus 185, and that's going to bring back up a plus 650. It's nice. Nothing crazy like our old ones, but plus 650 is good enough for me, boys. Two-leg parlay at plus 650. What else we got on top of that? Poges ends inside the distance. Yeah, Stoliarenko ITD. We've already done there a couple of times. Ends ITD in the McCann fight. McCann sub. We'll leave McCann sub there. Muradov GTD. Kizrav sub. Salikov. Moicano. Dolidze. Not really much going on here, boys. We've got Poges ends inside the distance and McCann sub. Should we just make that another parlay? All right, we'll just make that another parlay. Just since it's there. It's waiting right there for us. So we got the McCann sub at plus 625. And then we got the ends inside the distance at minus 115. It's 12 to 1, boys. I mean, it's pretty good. Two-leg parlay at plus 1255. So plus 1,255. And boys, that's it. That is the entire parlay stream done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this viewable for you. Can I not move it over there? I should be able to move it in the middle. You know what I mean? Like here, look at all of this space. But yeah, basically this is it, boys. So screenshot this because it ain't going to last forever. So let's go through it together. So we've got parlay 1, which is Landon Quinones, Charles Ragy, and Natalia Silva. Then we got parlay 2, which is Landon Quinones over 2.5 rounds. That's just the fight. Landon versus Medeiros over 2.5 rounds. Natalia Silva fight ends in ITD plus 185. And then we got Lee money line at minus 150. Then the third parlay is Ragy to get a KO and Lee to get a KO. Same thing. Then the fourth parlay, Pete Rodriguez money line, Maxim decision, and Stoliarenko money line, minus 145. Then the fifth parlay, Drew Dober money line, and Roman Dolidze versus Imavov to go to decision. And then the craziest parlay is Lee TKO round 1, Rodriguez round 1, Stoliarenko sub round 1. That's insane. Plus 1370. Then my parlay 7, Poges ends inside the distance is minus 115, and McCann sub plus 625. Again, to land a 12 to 1 shot. So we've done a lot there, boys. And yeah, thanks for being here. Horner's saying we're going 0 for 7. Hopefully not, bro. But it doesn't matter because we went 3 for 7 last time out and we've already paid for our next 65 bets. So even if we get 7, it's cool. We still got another 57 left, I think. So it's cool, man. Clay Smith laughing. I have to format columns to move it. Yeah, but definitely can't format columns here, bro. Yeah, no, I can't format columns here. This is just onlinenotepad.org. This is random. So, boys, that's it, man. We did the entire stream. Thanks for being here again. That's the 3rd stream that I've done. Hopefully it goes as well as the last one. The last one was absolutely insane. And as I said, boys, this stream is not like another stream where I'm giving you out multiple winning picks. This stream, there's going to be many weeks we hit nothing, right? But in the weeks that we do hit, we're going to hit massively like we did last week. And it's going to pay for the next 30 weeks. Like I've said, we've already won in 2024. We've already won the entire 2024. With the amount of parlays we bet every week, we basically can't lose for the entire 2024, even if we hit no more parlays. If we hit no parlays for the rest of 2024, we're about break even, which is insanity, right? But by the way, boys, we've only just started February. We definitely will hit more parlays. But just a disclaimer, boys, don't be putting all your money on this because we're going to lose way more than we win. Most weeks, we won't hit anything. But that's just how we're playing with these parlays, which the worst odds I'm giving you is 6-1, right? And the best odds are 137-1. So that's just a little disclaimer for any of the new guys or for anybody who doesn't really understand the way we play with these parlays. But that's the Parlay Madness live stream done, boys. I appreciate you very much for being here. If you've got any questions for me before I shoot out, please let me know. I will be happy to answer them. But if not, I'm going to go. And I'll say shout out to everybody in the chat one more time. Clay Smith, nice work. Cheers, brother. Less cash big. One thing I will say as well, if you haven't signed up to my service yet, you are missing out on a lot of money. This weekend is a perfect weekend to sign up because I don't have any small bets. All of my bets are big bets this week, which means that they're big bets for a reason. I'm confident in the plays that we have, right? So it's definitely a good weekend to sign up. LucrativeMMABetting.com to do that. Also, we're on a mad streak. 2024 has started off crazy. We're undefeated in 2024 so far on weekends, on weeks. We haven't lost a week in 2024 yet. And I'm coming off the biggest win of my entire career, or one of the biggest wins of my entire career, which was over $130,000 in cash. So this is a good weekend to sign up, right? And yeah. You the GOAT, going to hit big again on Saturday. You already know that. Hanato submission 2-3 combo. Love seeing this process. Thanks, James. You're welcome, brother. This is the way. If they win by submission, this is hitting. This is why James is the king. I appreciate you, brother. Gray Span, I look forward to this show the most. It's cool to see the work in real time. Thank you, brother. It's not going anywhere. We're going to be doing this every week. Blunt Force MMA. Cheers, James. Love your work. Love you, brother. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I'll be back next week. Sign up for this weekend. Get paid. If not, follow me on the socials and do your thing. Good luck on your weekend, boys, whether you're with me or not. Let's cash these tickets.